Yo, what's up, A2D fam? If you're not part of the fam, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Don't you miss a moment. It's Stanley Cup time. Let's go.
Let's go! This ain't the fuck night! Oh, this game he stinks!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live on a2dradio.com. I am Matt Cinsudi, along with the broken one himself, Rob Povia.
You better watch your mouth, Maddie, or I'll throw a fireball in your face because I'm a wizard. But seriously, welcome back, Maddie. Good to have you.
It's good to be back. And unfortunately, Brian is not here, the Dark Wing. He is traveling, so he'll be back in next week.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, man, it's good to see everybody again. And obviously, a lot's changed since the last episode. We're now down to our final two teams in the playoffs. The Stanley Cup Finals have officially been determined. Both conference titles, the Clarence S. Campbell Bowl and the Prince of Wales Trophy, have been awarded to their respective winner. We have a team that's trying to three-peat and do something that hasn't been done since the 1980s in the Tampa Bay Lightning. And on the other hand, we have a team that's trying to win their first cup pretty much with this iteration in this core, and also for the first time since 2001 when they gave Ray Bourque his go off into the Sunset Cup. And that was back in 2001. So it's been a little bit. Anyway, it should shape up to be a very exciting Stanley Cup Finals with a lot riding on the line for both teams, really. Nonetheless, we are the Hockey Happy Hour. We're here to talk about that and talk about the rest of the playoffs and go through some of the key moments, the series themselves, and see what was interesting about those battles. And, just really kind of find out how we felt about this year's playoff. Did it hold up to last year's or to the year before's, since this was ESPN's first go of it since the early 2000s. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But brought to you by none other than Manscaped. You can get 20% off free shipping with the A2D code at manscaped.com. That's 20% off. Free shipping with the A2D code at Manscaped. And it's time to throw away your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. Listen, Darkwing says it every week, and he's 100% true. Ladies don't like junk funk. They absolutely despise it. Please do yourself a favor. Get rid of it. Say, be gone to junk funk. And not only that, too, you feel good about yourself. If there's one thing you want to do in this world, it's feel good about you. And what better way to feel good about yourself than to make sure all of your sensitive areas are taken care of and you feel good. You just walk around with a bit of a swagger going on. Not only will the ladies appreciate it, hell, everybody else will appreciate it on top of it. Be like, yeah, you know what? There's a guy who's got shit going on. So go to Manscaped and get yourself all of that. Get yourself that experience. All right.
Yourself clean for the summer, man. I'm seeing things on Facebook over here. Guys wearing these C cups, or they're even tighter than freaking G strings. I'm like, mud on. Gotta get Manscaped if you're gonna wear something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Because let's be honest,
my eyes, they're burning.
I mean, if you're going to be doing that, it's much easier to go to Manscaped than to do the old wax job. That yeah, I don't think you want to be experiencing that.
No, sir.
All right, and the poll question brought to you by BetUS, a leading sports book here. And you know what? Listen, there's something that I want you guys to get in on, and that's becoming an A2D member. And the reason why is because you could take the advice here of the Money Pot Podcast, Willie Vegas. There's other perks as well, appearances on shows, members-only streams, $9.99 a month. And the reason why is because if you listen to their advice, you can take it with you, use it, go to BetUS, which is the leading online sports book that has been in the market for over 25 years. You can bet on anywhere in the U.S. on everything. Use the link that you see right there down below for a 125% sign-up bonus, and then you can win yourself some money, and then you're getting paid to be an A2D member. You can be a little side hustle there. So that way, not only does the day job pay you, but also you feel like you could just go on down to any sports betting, and you could just say, you know what? I know exactly what's going to happen. You look at the lines, and you're like, I don't even need to look at the lines. I already know. Willie Vegas and Money Pot said this, and I'm rolling with it. Be rolling in the cash. So there you go, guys. Take that advice. Go seek it out.
Ah, man, we missed you, Maddie. 6 minutes in, 3 reads down, dude. I don't got it like that.
All right, so I'm sure it was fine.
Oh yeah, we got him in. We got him in. That's the important thing. Take care of the people that take care of us.
Absolutely. And the poll question for tonight is no, not that one. I hate it when they put the two poll questions up. Delete one, please. All right. And it is bad luck to touch the conference final trophy. Now, the reason why is, historically speaking, there have been several teams, the 2010 Flyers, to put it into perspective, have touched their conference title and have not won the Stanley Cup in the preceding series. Is it really bad luck? Now, here's the thing. Both teams have touched their trophies. So I guess the curse is null and void because both teams decided to do that. But I will say that I stand correct on my prediction a couple of weeks ago and my hot take saying that one team will touch their conference title and fuck their chances out of the cup. So it'll come true. I mean, yeah, it's sort of a BS way for it to come true, but I'm not wrong. And that's the important thing. I am not wrong. Thank you. I am not a liar. I will take that.
Unfortunately, life doesn't work where two negatives cancel each other out. So one might be ill-fated. But we look back to the past 2 years with Tampa Bay, and had they not touched the trophy both times and gone on to win the Stanley Cup. So, I mean, they've proven it, it's not bad luck. Now we'll see if the third time, is not the charm in this case, but I don't know. I'll disagree with the poll. I think it's tough for me because normally I would have agreed to this poll because I'm superstitious as fuck about that, right? But I don't know. I mean, I think that's just something that gets in your heads, and specifically on the Lightning side, they've been there and they've done that, and it doesn't make you grip the stick any tighter.
All right. I mean, I look at it from the perspective of, you know what, maybe because the Lightning have touched the trophy both years, but at the same time, though, because Colorado touched the trophy, maybe Colorado reversed it, and now it's on Colorado's side because it's like, Colorado did it and countered you. You thought you could sneak that one in. You had to do those things, but you know what? Colorado said, no, we're touching ours. I mean, all this touching it's actually making me feel uncomfortable. But anyway, on to our comments. And we go to Wolf of Odin, Philly Wolf 90. What's up, brother? Saying I'm a Flyers fan, but I'm cheering for home team Colorado Avalanche. That's right, brother. Being out there, it must be exciting to see the Avs back in the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 2001. It's been a good long while. It's been a decade and plus. So, hey, congrats to Colorado for getting here. And, they got here with authority. The way they pretty much won that series. I was like, damn, man. They just told Edmonton, go fuck right off. We go into the finals, guys. And we've got good old Joe Povia chiming in saying temporary dynamic duo. Temporary? What's this temporary crap we're talking about here, Joe? Come on, brother. Give us a little bit more credit than that.
He's used to the 3. You don't remember back in the day when it was just me and you talking hockey for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I still have that episode, too. I'll send it off to you, Rob, so that way you can bring up some memories.
Well, every solid triad has the dynamic duo. You know what I mean? Like, let's go.
That's true. That's true. And Wolfo is saying, let's go Avs. We got Pete chiming in. What's up, Pete? Saying evening, fam. Evening, Pete. How are you, sir? And
what up, Pete?
We have the Dark Wings chiming in. As always, here in spirit and here in the fans chat, saying Bruce Cassidy, the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. That is true. The Boston Bruins did let him go. It seems like the Bruins are moving on from this current iteration of themselves, which means hopefully next year they won't be in the playoffs. One could wish. One could hope. Maybe. Please.
Well, I just responded back to Brian, and we're going to get into this around the league, which is funny because we're really around the league when we're talking Stanley Cup Finals, but I'm going to bring it home to Philadelphia and talk about the finalists that are up for the head coach, the sought-after head coaching job of the Philadelphia Flyers. One of them being Trotz, and with Bruce Cassidy going to Vegas, that's one less spot for him to go to.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, the favorite probably for Trotz is Winnipeg, as Brian's pointed out. Yeah, well, that's a little tease. We'll talk about it more later.
Well, we definitely will. And Joe, what's up, Joe? Saying Lightning in 6. So he's going with a 3-peat. We got Swoopy chiming in. What's up, Swoopy? Saying, gentlemen, what's going on, Swoopy? Wolfone saying he disagrees. He does not believe that it's bad luck to touch the conference final trophy. And we got good old Charles chiming in saying, yo, gentlemen, what's up, Chucks? And Swoopy saying, did you hear what Pierre-Edouard Bellemare said about leaving Colorado? Actually, no, I didn't. Did you, Rob?
Yeah. It's Fleet. I responded back to him. I'm sorry, I was writing back someone else right there. But I basically, just to paraphrase, I'm gonna look up specifically what it is now. But he whatchamacallit, really is looking to go elsewhere. Is a simple way to put it.
Interesting. It's interesting that he would want to leave, but I mean, hey, guy got his reasons. All right, let's see here. We got this guy
going back to Vegas. Go ahead. Oh,
I was just saying, we got this schmuck here saying, "Go Avs, go."
Well, responded to our YouTube fan. You know what I mean? They're going, "Let's go Colorado," and I'm not gonna pull punches. You know what I mean? That would be my favorite. Nobody wants to see I mean, a 3-peat is a special thing. Don't get me wrong, and it's not bad to witness. But in the end, you want parity in your league. You know what I mean? You don't want the same team winning it every year or whatever. Then we're the NBA.
Well, yeah, I can understand that perspective. Personally, for myself, though, as a historian, I do find it actually kind of thrilling to see a dynasty like this in my lifetime, because I never thought it would actually happen in my lifetime, considering the fact that, like you said, Rob, parity is very common in this league. So I thought there's no way a team's ever going to 3-peat ever again in the NHL. Those days are long gone. The last time you could ever possibly seen something like that, it was not even in the 90s. It would have had to have been the 80s. So, I mean, honestly, to see it possibly happening here before my very eyes, I'd be honest with you, from a historical perspective, I actually kind of like it, at least in my opinion, to see it happen at least once, That, and also the fact that Tampa could then be claimed that they're the best team of the 21st century, and Pittsburgh won't be able to do it, and they can't say shit about it. Like, yes, you're not the greatest team of the 21st century. Tampa is. Thank God. Thank God. That's good news. Crosby can go fuck himself in that. But anyway, see, always comes back to a selfish motivation. Yeah. So on to Don. What's up, Don? Saying, what's up, fellas? Back to feeling like my old self. That's good to know. good thing to see that you're probably going to make a really crappy bet during the Stanley Cup Finals and then feign that you got your account froze and that you can't pay everybody when it blows up in your face. And also, Wolfbone saying, I am absolutely thrilled. I remember watching Bork winning his cup and a first cup. Ah, yes. That was a big moment. I mean, obviously, Colorado was the very first time Colorado existed in '96 when they beat the Florida Panthers. And then, of course, the Bork Cup was a special moment, not just for the Colorado Avalanche, but I think for all of hockey. A legend getting his goodbye cup. And, you know, he didn't win it with Boston, so it's perfectly fine in my book. And on top of that, the Avalanche beat the Devils to do it. So, hey, listen, I was all for that victory right there. And let's see here. Yeah, we got Jake chiming in. What special night this is? We have two Matsutsu's on the screen at the same time. Ah, yes, the old high school picture. All right. Wolf voting, saying Valerie Kaminsky, Peter Forsberg, Patrick Waugh, Joe Sakic, really good players. I loved watching that team on the championship. And then let's see. He also says,
I got it. Sorry. I was looking up the specific quote or whatever, right? You know, he left Colorado obviously and went and chose to sign with Tampa Bay Lightning, and he basically said he wanted to go to a team that knows how to win the cup.
Oh, he pulled a Marian Hossa? Oh, yeah. Okay. He pulled a Marian Hossa.
That wants to win the cup. They want, like, there's more of a want there or something like that. So that's a little shot. But I mean, you had to expect that. I mean, what is the irony that the teams that he's played for the past two seasons meet up in the Stanley Cup Finals? So he would have been there either way.
True. The irony is very much there. Yes, a good old Marian Hossa in modern time, although maybe a little bit of a different player. But should be interesting to see how that plays out. Oh, and Wolfie, the Flyers haven't signed anyone as coach yet. They've been narrowing down candidates, but no signage has officially happened.
Last I heard, down to 3, but still room for some dark horses. Like I said, we'll get into it, and I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
I already don't like it already from what I've read today.
Oh, boy. Edward Chamberlain said, this the toughest test for Tampa or for Colorado? Because for Tampa, I would argue possibly. For Colorado, I would say yes. This is their toughest challenge because you're dealing with the two-time champs. So, big matchup for them.
Well,
and by the way, welcome.
Levels that statement's true because this might be the toughest team that they've had to meet in the finals. In the past 2 years, including one of them being a shortened season. I mean, they've made legitimate their claim to being the top team by winning it back to back. But now you have like a night. You know what I mean? Like the true test for them. And in general, the Stanley Cup Finals is the toughest test, no matter what your story is. To get through 4 series and hoist that cup. There's no tougher test in sports.
No, you're correct, and I agree. I think that when you go for the Stanley Cup, it's a tough battle, and then on top of it as well, we're talking about the two, like you said, Rob, the previous 2 matchups. Colorado faced off with 2 underdog runs. Dallas made a surprise run in 2020. No one expected them to make that. And then, of course, who can forget the run that Montreal had last year where they stunned everybody and went to the finals. But, I will give that one. I'll give that run to Toronto because Toronto decided to cough up a 3-1 series lead. And no, that will never not be funny. However, we'll talk about Toronto when we do our playoff review. Anyway, but yes, there are definitely, like you said, many levels that this is an actual tough test, the toughest test. And, it will definitely be a challenge to see if Tampa can three-peat. It will not be an easy matchup.
See.
Greg saying, what's up? What's up, Greg?
Grego.
And then, let's see. He goes on to say... Greg saying, disagree to the poll. It's a fun talking point, but don't think it matters at all. Okay. And
numbers don't lie. I mean, certainly like the President's Trophy, we saw that curse come, hold more validity this season. But I mean, there's been a lot of cases where it has been, bit of true superstitiousness there.
Yeah, true. He also went on to say that we are here and the Rags aren't a part of it. Love it. That is true. They are not. Went to 7 games, and Tampa proved that they're just the kings of Game 7s. Joe saying that my high school picture looks like Buzz's girlfriend.
Wolf.
Yeah.
Hubba.
Thank you, Joe. And we've got Bryce saying, yo, what's up, Bryce? How's it going, man? And let's see here. He said he's got the Lightning in 7, but he also says the Avs can win. All right, Rob. So let's get into it. Stanley Cup Finals preview. It is the battle between the chance to three-peat Tampa Bay Lightning and the almost unstoppable force in the West in the Colorado Avalanche, at least this year. 2 teams seeming like they're on a path of destiny. One to make history, the other one to finally end a cup drought that's been in place since 2001. What do you think, Rob? What do you think is going to happen? I know you want the Avs to win, but who do you think will win? Who do you think's got the advantage here?
It's got to be the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, they have history on their side. They have the better goaltender by far. I mean, they just got through a matchup where there was a equal battle there between the pipes, but you got to give the decided advantage to Tampa Bay here. You don't even know if you're at least I haven't heard about the health status of Darcy Kemper, who their number 1 is. But even assuming that he's healthy and can play for game 1, that's a mismatch. You know what I mean? As well as Kemper has played this season, it's still a mismatch. Now, can Colorado overcome that with their defensive pressure, with their offensive forecheck? Absolutely. I think it will be a lengthy Stanley Cup series, but I mean, the betting line opened up and it was so juicy for Tampa Bay, and maybe it was worked down a little bit because how many times do you see a team win it 3 consecutive years in a row? But they're set up for it again. I mean, as good as Colorado is, and I'm going to get in. I actually broke down the numbers, and I can give a little tail of the tape here in a minute. But just to wrap up the answer that you're searching for, I think Tampa Bay does three-peat, and they do it in 6 games.
Well, since you got a tail of the tape, do you have it divided up with goaltending, defense, offense, special teams? Is that how you got it all?
In a sense, absolutely. I'll run it down right now. Just looking at, first of all, offensively, goals for per game in this year's playoffs. Colorado is number 1 with 4.64 goals for per game, opposed to Tampa Bay Lightning putting up 3.06, which is 8th in this year's playoffs. And really, you look at the shots per game, and that really tells you why there's a disparity there in terms of the goals per game. Avalanche almost putting up 41 shots a game. Tampa Bay is at 32.5 right now. So, basically Tampa Bay has played a little bit more of that suffocating, not clogging up the neutral zone area, which may, result in a little bit of, less offensive time to post up shots. So Colorado has that check mark in a sense. Now, you asked about the special teams. Here's another key factor. Colorado, 31.1% on the power play, which is 2nd in this year's playoffs. Tampa Bay is down at 22.6%, 8th. Another, feather in the cap of the Colorado Avalanche. But you flip the script and go over to the penalty kill. Colorado is killing them at 75.7% of the time, which is only 10th in the league. But they do have a shorty in this year's playoffs, along with Tampa Bay having 1 short and a goal. Tampa Bay, the side advantage here, they're 5th in the NHL, killing 82.5%.
Wow. So
Fantasy has a little effect there.
Definitely he has an effect on that. But
goaltender's your best penalty killer, right?
No, you're right. You are not wrong in that thinking there, Rob.
Right.
But I mean, it's cool to see that you kind of have a point and a counterpoint there, you know. So Colorado would like to have their power play going, but at the same time, Tampa's penalty kill can negate it, especially if Vazzy's on his game, you know. So it may actually wind up canceling each other out and being where maybe 1 or 2 power play goals can be scored in any present situation, but for the most part, it's at best it's 1. You know, I think it's literally something like that in that context.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look at it strength for strength, and usually in those in those contexts of strength for strength, the advantage goes to the goaltender in defense. Right. Now you look at weakness versus weakness, where it's Tampa Bay's power play versus Colorado's penalty kill. Right. That usually goes to the offense. You know what I mean? Because again, you're focusing on your last line of defense, and if they have a lower penalty kill, so all total, if you look at both sides of special teams, I give the check mark there to Tampa Bay. So, I mean, even strength has been pretty solid for both teams, but still, Colorado has put up 50 goals, even strength 5-on-5 to Tampa Bay's 37. So, I mean, that just shows a lot more scoring out there in those Western playoff series. So, I mean, maybe that has a little responsibility there.
I think so too, but I think most of it like you said, I think it's also who Colorado's been facing. I mean, they faced, they went in the first round, they took on Nashville, and Nashville did not do well against Colorado. They could not stop them. And then Edmonton, Mike Smith's your goaltender, so I don't really think I need to say more. And then on top of it, in the Western Conference, St. Louis, was probably the best suited team to face them until Nazem Kadri came into existence, and then St. Louis completely imploded after that. and again, I'm going to say this right now. Kadri did not do anything wrong. He got pushed into Binnington, so incidental contact, but it sank St. Louis's chances of staying competitive in that series. But all the same, I think Colorado's benefited from that a little bit in terms of the goal scoring department because, you think of what Tampa's had to face. Tampa's had to face Toronto. They've had to face Florida, although Florida had maybe the opposite on that. But the Rangers, who had a really strong defensive presence during their series, I think that's the tale of what we got here. I think that's what those stats show, that one team had a much harder journey in offense, whereas the other one might have had a little bit more lax on the teams they were facing.
Right. I'll get to the goaltender numbers in a second, but I'll address Greg's question asking about Braden Point if he's back for Tampa Bay. He did practice in full on Monday, and ESPN actually just put out a report an hour ago saying that he's in line to return for Game 1.
All right, then. So Braden Point will be a huge comeback for them. I know that they asked Cooper. Cooper said that he is a high possibility, but it wasn't confirmed yet whether he was ready to go or not. So it seems like he might be now. So, hey, huge.
What a difference maker, too. Not only inserting a player of that caliber into your lineup, but inserting a fresh player at this stage of the game. That's one of your best players.
It kind of reminds me of when Stamkos had the core muscle surgery in 2020, and he never played a single game up until was it game 1? Might have been game 1.
No, it was into the series. I wanted to say it was like game 2 or game 3. Might have been his latest game. No, I don't think it was his latest game 4. It was game 2 or game 3 he came in.
Gotcha. And I just you remember he comes in, plays one shift and scores, and then left. I was like, boy, I'll tell you, man.
You still got it.
I'll tell you, man. Boy, I hope one day the Flyers' new captain can have swagger like that, where it's just like, yeah, I know I had core muscle surgery, but I'm going to come in on one shift of the Stanley Cup Finals, and I'm just going to shit on our opponent, and then I'm going to leave and drop the mic. Like, damn, that's pretty ballsy right there on Stamkos' part.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, you want that bravado out of your leader, right?
Absolutely. He scored that clutch goal in Game 7. So, I mean, yeah, that's when we talk about having a captain that makes a difference. That's the example of a captain that makes the difference right there.
Well, in the more recent, successful years, if we could still remember them here in Philadelphia, G was that for this team. I mean,
Absolutely.
you look no further than the shifts. So,
Yeah, I mean, how many times did G get us some clutch goals? I mean, hell, he was getting clutch goals for Florida, even though they wanted to lose that series. Right. Oh, all right. Oh, Bryce has a quick question for us. Flyers related question. Can the Flyers get any of these good players in the next 2 drafts? Yeah, they can. The goal is developing them. That's the goal here, because unfortunately it seems to be we're getting some type of issue between drafting and then getting them ready for the next step. So we need to solve what's going on in between here and fix the bridge between minor or / prospect and then elite pro player.
right.
We need to figure that out.
Now, we fall just out of the realm of the potential elites of this year's upcoming draft, but you're still going to get a solid player at 5. As much as I bitched and complained about getting 5, you're still going to get a solid player out of 5, right? But here's the thing. It depends on what the Flyers do this offseason, right? And that's going to key off of who they hire as their head coach, right? But assuming they do the right thing and just get the guys that are currently on your squad healthy, back in your lineup, building from the farm, building from the draft, right? It's going to be another rough year for the Flyers. More of that, maybe you'll see more bright spots this year, hopefully more team chemistry, hopefully more team compete and hunger, which we've been lacking here in Philadelphia. But you're still going to be a bottom 10 team in the league. So next year's draft, any of those top 10 are elite. So, yes, I think we will get the guys that can help turn this around. And starting with focusing on this roster, Cam Atkinson, Ryan Ellis, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. That's the key goal, is to kind of basically figure out what this team is now that the G era is over, and hopefully the spinning of the wheels era, that I like to call it, is over, because that's pretty much what it fucking was. Hopefully we have learned a very harsh lesson and we actually develop our players and not try to slapdash a run together every year. Let's take our time and let's do this right. And then we will be able to go into every season with confidence and not a fool's hope, saying that, yes, we will make the playoffs yearly. And yes, we will be in the hunt for the cup every year. But we've got to be patient and we got to take our time in doing this to make sure it's done properly. That's what a lot of these teams did, and it's paid off. Look at Tampa. They weren't great when they started rebuilding, but holy shit, look at them now. They're on the cusp of possibly three-peating for the first time a team possibly could do it since the freaking 80s. Take some lessons and take some fucking notes on how to develop a team from scratch. All right. Bryce saying Stamkos healthy. Scary. Yes, it is scary. He's usually never healthy for the playoffs.
Right.
Evan Taylor saying, what's up, guys? What's up, Evan?
What's up, Evan?
All right, then. So, in terms of that, obviously we were talking. Yep. You're up.
Yeah, we were talking about the tail of the tape. You want me to give you the goaltending side?
That's exactly where I was heading to. Go right ahead.
I know. I was trying to say it in unison, like we're simpatico. You know what I mean? Because it's just the two of us, and it's like, talk over me, son. But you don't have to stop just because I'll talk all day long. I'm on the A2D right now. Talk over me.
It's okay. It's okay, dude. It's all right.
I thought we were going to complete. We complete each other's sentences. You know what I mean? It's kind of kismet.
But here's the thing. I was thinking it, and so were you. So we're on the same wavelength. So
truth be told,
we're good.
All right, enough that nonsense. Goals against per game. Now you'd think obviously Tampa Bay has the decided advantage there, and they do, but it's not as overwhelming as you think. They're allowing 2.41 goals per game, which is second in this year's playoffs. Colorado 2.86, tied for third. You go to the save percentage, and that's where there's a more of a distinct difference. Tampa Bay 928, which is only third, believe it or not, in this year's playoffs. But Colorado save percentage 901, 10th. They're not giving up as many shots and still a few 0.45 goals more per game. So obviously that's going to have a hit on the save percentage there. Both teams have a shutout in this year's playoffs, which there haven't been very many this year. That's tied for second with only the Uno. But in the end, it just you see the distinct advantage that Bazzi gives you. You look at the strength of Colorado that has put up 40.7 shots per game, matched up against a save percentage from Vasilevsky, let's just call it, as and the Tampa Bay team as which we call, sorry, I had something crawling on my feet. There's been like a spider. The spiders are going wild here in Jersey right now with the weather. But anyway, but the 928 save percentage to the more shots that Colorado puts up, in the end, you give the overall check mark to Tampa Bay, supporting my prediction.
Nice. All right. Well, it makes sense.
As much as I don't want to say it, I'll be rooting for the Abs, but I got to call it like I say it.
I mean, I will say this. I think it's hard to argue right now. Vazzy's got to be the best goalie in the world right now. The man has taken his team to 3 cup finals over the last 3 seasons. And just when you think that he's about to show signs of being human, he says, human? The fuck are you talking? I'm not human. I was just sent here from the same planet that the Mighty Ducks come from, and I'm just a fucking tank when it comes to being a goaltender. That's pretty much what he is. And let's see here. Evan saying,
I'm not a man, I'm a machine.
Yeah.
A machine. Like Brett Kirshner.
Yeah. He's a cybernetic organism.
Have you ever seen Brett Kirshner stand up, or specifically The Machine?
Actually, no, I haven't.
Yeah, the dude from the Go Big Show, right? The host from that. You got to go check that out, dude. Fucking the story that he tells about being on the Russian train is fucking epic, and you know that it's like 1,000% true. That's the greatest part of it.
Funny part is, and it's weird. You would have think that I would have seen this, sooner. As I just recently saw Jim Brewer's ACDC segment where he's going, "It's a hokey pokey crowd." Oh my god, that shit was fucking hilarious.
No doubt.
But Evan saying it's definitely a jinx. Agree to the poll. Dan saying, "Hey, what's up, Dan?" Saying, "No Duck Boy today." No Duck Boy today. He'll be back with his beak and his feathers. He'll be back next week. Don't worry.
He's actually up or on his way up here to the Dirty Jers. It's gonna go. Good to see him in the 3D form. We gotta get up. We gotta get up, Dale. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. All right.
Make it so.
Okay, so we went through the goaltending. We went through the special teams, and we went through. We went through the offense. Did we go through the defense?
I mean, we get into a little bit. I don't have particular statistics to offer besides the goals against per game and the shots allowed per game, but as was previously listed. But we can talk individually. I mean, you look at, there's studs on both sides of the puck here, man. I mean, started off by Hedman and Cale Makar on the Avalanche, but you break it down. I mean, who do you think has the decided advantage defensively?
Defensively, I will say Tampa. And the reason why I say Tampa, I think Victor Hedman is a big difference maker in that, but I also believe that at the same time, I think experience also helps you in a situation like this. Sure. And I feel like Tampa, nothing against what Colorado has on their back end. They've got some real strong players, like you said, but I do think that in defensive side of the puck, experience really helps you in a case like this, even with a very high-powered offense that Colorado has, and they've cut some very high-caliber bullets in that offense. But I would say you got the experience of handling teams like that. You know what it's like to face teams that have very fast-paced offenses. I think that definitely gives the advantage to Tampa because they've dealt with them a decent amount. They've dealt with teams like that a decent amount. And also having the experience of 2 straight cup finals, I feel like the nerves they're there, but
I agree.
You could kind of settle them down a little bit better and let them go,
Right. Yeah, no, all facts that you list right there. I mean, in the end, I give the and some of the statistical evidence there in terms of goals and shot against supports this, but looking at it on an on ice issue, I mean, the thing of it is the Avs have sneaky depth at defense. They have a lot of guys that can play 200-foot games or whatever. So I think it's going to be it's an advantage Tampa Bay, but not a decided advantage for Tampa Bay.
No, I got you. Yeah, by about a hair. Yeah, I got you. All right. Don't ask where the hair comes from. But all the same, Manscaped. All the same, with our preview and our tail of the tape taken care of there, Rob, has your opinion changed at all, or do you still believe that this is an Avs victory?
No, it's a Tampa Bay. I go Tampa in 6.
Okay.
I'm rooting for Avs, and I mean, I actually should look this up and be responsible here, because I haven't heard much. You don't hear much on the injury front, especially the goaltender. Coming into any series in the playoffs, let alone or any series during the regular season for that matter, let alone the Stanley Cup Finals. But
yeah.
All right. Well, 6 hours ago from Clutch Points, they say it gets a big boost. So that's not telling me that it's definitive yet. Yeah, it's definitely up in the air whether it's going to be Kemper or Francois.
And let's give Francois a lot of credit. He stepped into a situation, and he was not an enviable task. It's like, hey, can you step in and kind of cover our ass while Kemper's recovering? And he said, sure. And he stepped up to the plate. Not that he didn't have any playoff experience. He did have to play in a few playoff matchups. I believe it was 2 years ago when the injury started really hitting Colorado real bad, and he had to step in for Grubauer. But all the same, he stepped up to the plate, and he's managed to make a very strong effort out of it. So seems like Colorado doesn't have a bad choice no matter what way they go.
This is more than a boost. Opening up this Clutch Points article that came out about 6 hours ago, Joe Sakic came out, GM of the Avalanche, to drop a huge truth bomb on his status for the Stanley Cup Finals versus the Lightning, claiming the Avs goalie is 100% healthy, according to Peter Baugh of, I'm going to tell you, just to give him cred, because this isn't my report. For the Athletic, big surprise. Athletics, fabulous. It's worth the subscription, especially for baseball, but certainly hockey as well. But covers the Colorado Avalanche, beat reporter for them. So I mean, is it smoke and mirrors? Because Joe Sakic has been there and done that and knows what it's about, or is it a guy being a little bit too honest, just telling it like it is? That he is indeed 100% healthy and ready to go game one. I think your choice is clear. If he's healthy, you're starting Kemper. I mean, you got to go back there.
I mean, I would. Francois has done a good job, but I would go with my starter because he's my starter.
Right. He hasn't been out. It isn't like Francois has done it for a long period of time where it's like, do we, you know what I mean? Like, he was pretty much filling the role, filling the void while everything else was coming together around him.
Yeah, it's not like he was it's not like Kemper got hurt a week before the playoffs and then Francois has been the go-to goaltender and he's gotten them this far. I could understand having some conflict there. Dad saying if Tampa wins, does Brady get his 10th ring? He probably does. I'm pretty sure Tampa will make him like an honorary Lightning and give him a ring.
Right. Especially since he came back, suck his piece a little more. But that's a fabulous, funny comment. But I was laughing at Priz. He's still working, but he'll be with us in the 9:00 Eastern, 8:00 Central hour, joining the program. But he goes, love you guys. Avs in 6. Fuck the Lightning. # I can never have anything nice. 2022 playoffs. Love you too, Priz.
We love you too, Priz. And Don't worry, man. It'll all be over soon. I mean, it might be. I have no clue. We don't know if this is going to go 7 games. I actually kind of hope it does. But, let's see here. On to, we got Rosca saying Lightning in 4. Lightning will win 3rd Stanley Cup.
Sweep! Oh man, that's a shit. We're already getting to our hot take of the week already.
Yeah.
That's Rosca's right there. I like it though. I'm not hating on it. I mean, I don't see it happening, but in terms of the validity of a hot take, you don't see hot takes happening. And could that happen? Vazzy just doesn't give up anything. It's possible.
He has 4 straight shutouts. Not a single goal scored by Colorado. Right. Oh my God! If that happened, I would actually be. I would literally be stunned. I don't know if I'd be able to do a broadcast. I'd be like, I don't know what to say. I've got nothing to say.
quick poll question for you, young Matthew. Then, right? Let's say that happens. Let's say Tampa sweeps. Vazzy pitches 3 out of 4 shutouts, and maybe in the other game gives up like a goal or 2. Right?
Okay.
Is he up in the conversation for best goaltender of all time?
Yes. I'm not even debating that fact. He's right up there with Waugh. He's right up there with Brodeur. He's right. I don't give a shit whether he has records or not. What this guy did in 3 straight years, right there. Yeah. It's like, holy shit. Even Brodeur didn't do that. Waugh didn't do that. They had to win their cups separated. So, you got to throw him up there now. I mean, he pulled off something that hasn't been done since Billy Smith did it. So,
I was going to say, Billy Smith. With Edmonton, was it not Grant Fuhr consecutively?
It wasn't. Moog helped out a little bit, I think, in the first 2 cups. And then after that, Moog felt like he wasn't getting enough playing time, so he left Edmonton to go to Boston. So then it was Fuhr consecutively. Gotcha. But yeah.
Right. So it'd be Smith then. Yeah, Billy Smith, right. Oh, that's a great name. Great name, Addy. Great name.
And also pretty much a predecessor to Ron Hextall, because he would like to swing his paddle at people and beat the shit out of them. It's like, I wonder who Hexy was inspired by when he was watching hockey. I could never truly know. Oh, all right. Ted's saying this isn't the Dallas Stars or Habs. Colorado is a legit contender. Habs in 6. That's a good point, Ted. That's a very good point. Dallas went on a magic run, and so did the Habs. You have a very valid point there.
Right. As we said earlier, in terms of the one comment of toughest test. You know what I mean? It is. It applies to both teams because this is the toughest team they faced in the Stanley Cup Finals. So, definitely make a good point. And can I see the Avs winning it in 6? They have enough goal scoring. It's going to be the battle between them and Vazzy. Can that work out? Will that work out? I mean, they've showed a proclivity to score on some pretty good goaltenders during this run to the playoffs. This will be their toughest test yet with Vasilevsky. But I mean, me personally, I just, I always look in the matchups and all right, if it's true what Joe Sakic says that Darcy Kemper is 100% healthy and in line to play in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Stanley Cup Finals, yes, that's a feather in the cap of the Avs for certain, but it's still a mismatch and it still favors the Tampa Bay Lightning. So it'll just be interesting. And despite all the praise that we're giving Vasilevsky during this show, I do remember a couple games where the Rangers beat him like a rented mule too. So he hasn't been absolutely sterling in that, knight in shining armor type of get up. He's had bad games too. That 6-2 game that you saw in the first game of the Rangers Tampa series really was a shocker for me. I don't know about you guys, but it was definitely a shocker for me. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You mentioned.
Oh, go ahead, sorry. No, go for it.
You mentioned that, and you're right. A couple of times he got beat, didn't look all that good. But I will say this: he rebounded so well that it's like he has one bad game committed to memory. because it's not happening again. That's how crazy it's been.
And the greats are like that. You know what I mean? Were there not games where we put up 5 goals against Marty Brodeur? We being the Flyers. Let me take the fanboy hat off. The Flyers putting up multiple goals, and the next game, Brodeur comes back, pitches a shutout. The great ones have short memories. That's for certain. That's what I want to see more, from Carter here, because he kind of has this, forget millennial, Gen Z vibe, where it's very emotional. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think it's good to be in tune with life that way, and I think you have a greater experience through life going that way. But for a sports athlete, you got to be able to shake it off. You can't let it overwhelm you.
No, you're right, and that's the thing. That's the problem with. Well, I mean, it's a learning experience, if anything. You learn from it, you grow from it, and you realize, okay, you need to calm down, take a real deep breath, and remember, everything's all right. And remember that, even if you have a bad game, it's one game. It doesn't change everything. I mean, sure, you can have a bad game at a terrible time. Just ask Tuukka Rask in Game 7 of 2019. That was a pretty bad game at the worst possible time. But does that mean Tuukka is not an elite goalie? Maybe to a Boston fan, yes. But to everybody on the outside looking in and hating Boston, absolutely not. He's still an elite level goalie. He just had a bad game at the worst possible time.
Don't overreact to shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like you said, Rob. That's the key point. Don't overreact. Stay calm, stay cool, be collected. It'll be all right. Remember, it's a 60-minute hockey game, and a lot can happen, and momentum changes on a dime in this league.
See, let me tell you something, man. When you get as old as I am, and you've been through year of highs and lows, more lows than highs, and more disappointment, you stop giving a fuck. You know what I mean? It's not that you're less of a passionate fan. It don't mean that one iota. You know what I mean? It just don't hit you as hard anymore. You're like, their loss, not mine. Next.
You've become so cynical after time.
You do.
I agree, though. I agree. Let's see here. What's Dylan talking about here? What's up, Dylan? Saying, what's going on, boys? Hope all is well. Got a possible signing news. Ooh, interesting. He says, according to verifiable source on Twitter, the Flames have re-signed Gaudreau to an 8-year, $9.5 million contract. Hope Friedman confirms it officially. Well, hey, if you got Johnny Hockey on that kind of a price tag and for that long, whoo, he cashed in. He cashed in big time on that one. Yeah, I mean, he did have a really good year, so I could totally understand signing him for that kind of money. Now, hopefully he can live up to that. And so also, by the way, even though if this is made official, I know for a fact, and this is just going to happen, we're going to hear it every offseason if he has a good year of, the Flyers should trade for Johnny Gaudreau. Yes, at that price tag of $9.5 million, let's go trade for Johnny Gaudreau, and let's give half the Flyers up to do it. But all the same, good for Johnny. Good to see a local boy doing well for himself, and he gets himself an 8-year, $9.5 million deal. Yeah, we'll see how he goes, and we'll see 9 years later if the Flames have a cup with him. All right, on to hey Dan, thoughts on McDavid Gate? I mean, here's the thing though, with the whole situation. Hey, what's up, Anthony? Honestly, the whole thing with McDavid and, with how the Oilers finished out and everything like that, I mean, the Oilers did more this year than they've done in pretty much most years. I mean, you're talking about a team that couldn't get out of the first round to save their sorry asses. And, even in the bubble when they're facing a broken down Chicago Blackhawks team, they still lost to that broken down Chicago Blackhawks team, sort of as a last hurrah to them, I guess. But I mean, they got swept by Winnipeg, too, and everything the following year. Like, Edmonton finally shed their first-round curse. They got to a third-round berth. Yeah, they got swept by Colorado very unceremoniously. And did they almost push a game 5 and then lose in overtime? Yes, I get it. And I do know that Connor McDavid had a couple of moments there where he looked a little pedestrian, but it didn't stay that way for very long, you know. But overall, I would say I don't really think there should be a Connor McDavid gate, at least not in my opinion. I mean, I honestly feel like Edmonton should kind of be happy with how they did this year because they got out of the first round for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. So it's not much to get angry about. You know, I mean, yeah, what's up?
It's progression.
Yeah, it's absolutely progression. It's a step in the right direction. You know, it's a couple of steps in the right direction. You won 2 rounds instead of just 1. You know, so just saying, I don't really think that it should be all that big of a deal right now. I mean, Edmonton should breathe themselves a sigh of relief that they can get eliminated in the first round this year. Sure, you wanted to go to the final, but you could build off of this. Is what I think I'm trying to say here. Build
anything that comes out right now is either like in Pierre-Edouard Belmar's case, you know, like saying, you know, getting in the heads of your opposition, you know, when you're still active, and then when you get knocked out, it's just salty talk. You know, you can't really, you know what I mean? You're disappointed. You thought this could be the year that you're hoisting the cup, and you get closer, and still no cigar. So. You know, it kind of like, I mean, look at what comments we got from Nate McKinnon after last year's playoffs and look where they're at right now. So, you know,
it's a process. You know, you don't win overnight. This is the kind of shit that happens. Yeah. I mean, hell, unfortunately, us Flyers fans know what it's like to suffer those ill effects.
Right. And I had a question for Dylan too. So, Is Gaudreau getting $9.5 million a year per year of that 8-year contract? Is that how am I interpreting that correctly?
Doesn't say.
You can get back to us on that. I mean, unless you got it up in front of you.
No, I don't have it up in front of me, but I was just double checking to see what he wrote. It's 8-year, 9. So it doesn't say it's per year. I'm going to assume that 9.5 is stretched out over the 8-year contract. I'm assuming. But
yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then geez, that's getting them pretty cheap.
That is the case, actually. I mean,
wow.
I would. It probably no. You know what? Come to think about it, it might actually be per year. Now that I'm starting to do the math a little bit in my head, and I'm not a math whiz, so
I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of teams are working, like look at what the Flyers are working at with salary cap or whatever, you know what I mean? There's team friendly deals, but I don't think you do it for 8 years. You know what I mean? That's a long time. You know what I mean? No. By then the cap could be elevated, you know, to where it was supposed to be, you know, once the revenue and you know, to your point, you were talking earlier about ESPN, you know, back and covering the NHL playoffs along with their partner TNT. Man, the ratings have been up. You know what I mean? They're pulling in money hand over fist, and the coverage has been good. You know what I mean? So I think it's a huge win for the NHL and the Shield.
So yeah, Dylan did confirm. I think he said it would be $9.5 million. I guess he would say no movement clause as well thrown in there. So $9.5 million per year. So you're a superstar contract, which makes sense to give Johnny that, you know.
Because the reason why I ask is that if that be the case, you can't. The Flyers have no business being in the market for that right now. You know what I mean? Like I don't care what happens. Like from here on out. You know what I mean? And any Flyers fans that say to the contrary of that need to get a clue. Need to wake the fuck up.
Need to realize where our team's at.
Right. Right. You can't just keep on putting Band-Aid over Band-Aid over Band-Aid because that shit don't work. It hasn't worked since the 70s.
Yeah.
It didn't work then either.
No. I mean, and honestly, that whole idea of putting the Band-Aid over cancer, it's like, you know, they didn't even do it back then. They actually drafted their team in the 80s. And that team almost won a cup and took the Oilers to 7 games in 87. So still the best team that the Flyers ever had that didn't win a cup. Even better than the Legion of Doom.
Interesting. So, that's a nice hot take. I like that. I'm not going to argue against it.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, when you look at that team, man, that team had a lot of depth and had a lot of weapons to it at that time. Sure, they made their trades to get guys like Brad Marsh and stuff like that to make that team even more deadlier. But at the same token, though, you had Ron Hextall in his prime in goal. That was a big issue the Legion of Doom always ran into, was goaltending issues. And then on top of it as well, you had a captain in Mark Howell of the defense who could score offensively and do his defensive game very well. You had Dave Poulin, you had Brian Propp, you had Rick Tocchet, Peter Zezel, you had Timmy Kerr, one of the best, if not arguably one of the best. Well, no, not arguably, one of the best goal scorers in Flyers history right there. It's like,
oh yeah,
that fucking team. Yeah, that fucking team, man. Whew. Yeah. You talk about a team that could take the Oilers to a limit. That may have been the only one, honestly. Well, maybe Montreal, but still, that's the only other one, honestly.
Very, very deep team. Very, very deep team. You think about like the role players that they had. Bottom six guys like Keith Acton. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just guys that play solid penalty kill for you too. They were a very good, complete team.
Yeah. We haven't done that in so long. It's like, God damn it. We did it in the 80s, and look what happened. I mean, yeah, we didn't win a cup, but God damn, did we get close.
Well, I mean, given the opinion before the facts later on, I will say that, the Flyers, you need to be in the market for a defensive-minded coach to build from within and to build that again,
Yeah, I agree. Dan was saying I was talking about him cheating on his girlfriend. Oh, I didn't even know about that. Well, I mean, if he cheated on his girlfriend, dude, kind of a scuzzy move right there. Probably should have broke up with her if you wanted to, not be in a relationship anymore. Just saying.
It's out of his hands. He's big Jesus. Jesus. You can't control these things.
No, you're right. I mean, he is living the rock star lifestyle, most likely up in Edmonton. I mean, come on. I'm sure the nightlife in Edmonton may not be necessarily as high as the nightlife in other places, but who cares? You go out on the town, you drink a little, and you're Connor McDavid in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, the biggest star there. You're probably going to have women throwing themselves at you. That's probably a given there.
You slip, you fall. You know what I mean?
And what goes where is,
But I mean, I'm talking shit. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately, you man up. You know what I mean? You do the right thing. You end a relationship, and then you move on to another one powerfully. He's a young kid still.
Yeah, that's true.
We all had fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, right? Young kid, still learning. I mean, personally, hockey, he has got nothing to learn. He's already got all that taken care of.
But as we've seen in this league and any league, when you do the family life, you know what I mean? You settle down or whatever, right? You create a better role model per your position as a famous athlete, right? Just the stability of that home life, right? How many players have we seen flamed out because they're going to the bars all the time? Like Richie and Carter. I mean, Carter, got there, but got back there, but there was a serious dip in his game too. You know what I mean? He could be a flash in the pan if maybe you don't get his personal life in order. If there is some, more disarray than I know right now.
Absolutely. And honestly, well, I mean, look at Evander Kane for a more recent example. Here's a guy who finally looked like he found his place in the NHL. Ironically, he is on Edmonton too. Maybe he was teaching Connor McDavid a few things. I'm just theorizing. That's a conspiracy theory there. There's no validation to it, but I might be onto something. I might be. But, I mean, Kane, obviously, he did a lot of fucked up shit, and he gambled his way into tons and tons of debt. And, you see the result. He wound up having to pay off his debts, and he got kicked out of the Sharks organization after looking like he finally found his place. And, it sucked too because he actually was playing real well for San Jose, and then he fucked up. You know, you hurt yourself more than hurt anybody else, really. At the end of the day,
True.
so let's see here. Ted saying McDavid Gate is him cheating on his girlfriend. The league should get involved and trade him to the Flyers for Ellis Hayes and JVR. It's only fair.
I 1,000% agree, Ted. And that needs to happen
right now, like right the fuck now. That way, him and his, I would assume ex are now going to have some distance. He can go out to the east.
It's like he says, it's only fair.
Yeah,
Step in league. Where you at?
Yeah, we're thinking of them. That's the important thing. We're trying to help them out.
You move. They stay together. You know what I mean? They go to counseling. They move out of Edmonton. They move to a different area. So past transgressions are left behind, and you can jump into the wonderful, wholesome city of Philadelphia.
Sure.
I couldn't get through it.
Yeah, I was going to say, the city of brotherly love where people get shot almost daily.
I was just thinking the level of strip clubs just around the sports complex alone in terms of wholesome.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. I mean, Connor, I don't know. What do you think? You think he's a club risque or a cheerleaders kind of? What do you think his club would be?
Nah, he's Delilah's den. For sure. Maybe even a little club risque on the side. All right, we gotta stop it. They're not paying us. Let's stop plugging these.
Okay. Yeah. All right, you're right. All right. Okay. Enough with that. So. By the way, hey, what's going on, Priz? Boy, did you walk in at a fun time.
Let's go.
All right, Rob. So let's talk about my pick for the Stanley Cup Finals. I will say the Lightning in 7. So I'm going with Bryce's pick. I think it will be a very exciting series, and I think that we will see a little bit of home advantage at first. But I think games 5 and 6, we will get the opposite, and the away team will win those games. We'll get to game 7, and the Lightning I think they'll get the job done. I think Vazzy doesn't shut them out, but I think holds them to 1 or 2 goals, and the Lightning win by 1 goal, no matter how many they give up. Because that just seems like that's how that goes with the Lightning.
Ladies and gentlemen, where do you get a more complete prediction than that? Boom.
Now watch me be completely wrong, and every single game is the absolute opposite of what I have said.
We just positively gave the Colorado Avalanche the Stanley Cup. You realize that because we both picked Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Depending on what B-Dale's pick is, we'll get that. If memory serves me correctly, I think he was going Tampa Bay too, but I could be wrong.
No, yeah, that's true. I think he was as well. I think, but we'll get more from him.
Text him.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
I'll bother him on the road and make him crash.
Yeah, seriously.
That's the kind of friend I am. Because we need it for the show.
Bryce right in the middle of the toll booth trying to find the change to throw at the person, and next thing you know, here's Rob, just like, hey, buddy, are you there? Hey, can you give me your prediction for the finals? Like, I'm kind of busy, Rob. It's like, no, I need it now, man. We're live.
Give it to me. I need it. Give it to me.
Let's see here. Dan saying Evander Kane is a Lannister, always paying off his debts. Ha! I see what you did there, Dan.
Well done.
But he's absolutely a Cersei Lannister. He's not even good enough to be a Jaime, or definitely not a Tyrion. All right. On to Prism. Saying, I wish syphilis on the whole Lightning team. Wow. Okay. I mean, it could be worse. He could have wished AIDS, but he did go syphilis. That's pretty bad.
I respect the intensity. And you're right. Yeah, it's syphilis. You can get over syphilis. I mean,
yeah. I mean, maybe not back in the day. This was still the Dark Ages, but Priz, right. Just kidding. In case I need to clarify, no, Priz, you weren't kidding. We know that you're not. We know you're trying to just make up for that. Dan said you were dying.
I was. I did die right there. That was funny.
Oh. Okay, so let's see here. Dylan's saying Avs will win in 6. McKinnon will finally eat chickpea pasta out of the Stanley Cup.
I just tried that the other day, actually. It's pretty damn good. It had a bit of a different aftertaste, but it wasn't like unpleasant.
It wasn't completely horrible, just somewhat.
No. I'm just saying that aspect of it. I mean, it was like a little unique or whatever. But I'm a hummus fan. I like chickpea. You know what I mean? I put like chickpea in my salad and stuff like that. So I personally like the aftertaste, but that might not be everybody's cup of tea. But in terms of, I mean, I even slipped some to my old man. He didn't even know it wasn't like regular pasta. He was just, munching it. You know what I mean?
So there you go. That's how you get people to try new things. You just slip it into their food when they're not looking.
I'd eat just about anything out of the Stanley Cup.
That could be taken in a whole different direction right there.
Yeah, considering I just watched that episode on FXX of Dave last night, rerun of him and his girlfriend, or him eating out his girlfriend's ass.
Yeah, there you go. Cheerleaders, here we go.
That's a funny ass show, by the way. Even if you don't even know who Lil Dicky is, that show is hilarious. So
All right, so on to our review of the playoffs. But before, Dan's saying, Rob, hummus with pickles is fire. Trust me.
Oh, agreed, 100%. Trader Joe's here in New Jersey offers a sandwich like that, also with like a little cabbage and carrot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So on to our second period, which we will do our playoff review. But before we dive into all of that, our first period was brought to you by these two wonderful sponsors. First one, Gleason's Bar, located 6700 Mill Creek Ave in Levittown, PA. You use the promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or you go online at gleasonsbarandsteaks.com. If you're ever in the Pennsylvania area and you're in the Levittown area or not too far away from it, check them out. And definitely get yourself some good food there. And use that promo code, get 10% off your order. And along with that, we have, if you are looking to buy or sell a home, or you have a change of career in brokerage, contact Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820, or visit him on the web at alan.foy at exprealty.com. A big step in life when you decide, you know what, it's time for me to have a change of scenery or a change of location, or if it's time to sell the house because, you know what, you're moving, but you want to, take care of that business and finish that up as soon as possible. Do it right. Go to Alan Foy. Don't just go to anybody. Go to him so it's done the right way. So that's always a big step. Do it right. Okay.
You go to the man.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Woo!
By the way, check out some.
That's a pretty good woo, by the way. I should get a little credit for that.
Ric Flair will
be cracked or anything.
Flair will be giving you a cease and desist order by tomorrow. So, by the way, check out him doing a phone call into Honky Tonk Man show. You'll die laughing. Trust me. On to the second period, reviewing the playoffs. So, the playoffs, boy, what an interesting one it was. So, we had a first round that was filled with just crazy matchups left and right. Sometimes you had some strange things per matchup as well. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Why is this what is going on? This is really fucked up right now. Can someone help me? I feel like I need to go to a white rubber room.
Right.
But
I mean, i.e., how many third-string goaltenders did we see play in these playoffs? How often did you see that?
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
It's like, did all the goalies just get bit by the injury bug before they got off the fucking plane to go to the game one of their series? Like, Jesus. And let's see. Tom Hedrick chiming in. What's up, Tom? Saying, I don't know how to feel about the Cassidy hire.
No, I think it's a good hire, man. You're talking about a guy who led the Bruins to the Stanley Cup Finals, 3 years ago, right? 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah. They made it official. The Las Vegas Golden Knights hiring Bruce Cassidy as their head coach. In case you didn't catch the news earlier, in the show, or I think the NHL app put that out too. But I think it's going to be good for them. I think it's the type of guy that the Knights need, strong leadership, accountability level. What it does mean, though, is that now you could cross off the Vegas Golden Knights off, the Trotz sweepstakes. A lot of conjectures is that Winnipeg will be a landing spot for him, which would be a good fit. It just really depends on what he's looking for. If he's, cup chasing, the Jets are a little bit more further along in that than, say, a local team like behind me, like the Philadelphia Flyers. But I mean, he's certainly up in the running for the Flyers. What came out this week, actually, Fletcher came out. I'll get into this now a little bit since Maddie had to step away. Great article from our friends over at the Flyers Nitty Gritty. Jamie Bascal. We've had Samantha Weismer on our show. Well, actually, both of them on our show. But the author of this, what's his name? Vasily Giannakos. Hopefully I got that correctly or whatever. But he put out the report that the Flyers named their coaching finalists, which it boiled down to 3 names, and Trotz being one of them. Another one is John Tortorella being a finalist for the Philadelphia Flyers, along with another name that might send a little shiver down your spine, and that's Peter DeBoer. My God, I really hope that it would be Trotz out of those 3, but I think, and I read, I don't want to, quote too much from the article. You can go over to Flyers Nitty Gritty and read it for yourself. But, Tortorella does, in a way, fit what this team needs, Maddie, a little bit. A defensive system, a defensive-minded coach, a tough-nosed coach that's going to be disciplined and really inspire and demand, the players play their game 100% of the time. And just overall accountability that's been missing from this organization for damn near the better part of a decade. I'm starting to warm up to the idea. I hate Tortorella more than I hate, Brussels sprouts. But, it depends. Like, I think it's really going to depend on where Trotz's head's at. I mean, out of all the head coach, I mean, there's been more that's interviewed with this team. They've interviewed David Quinn, Jeff Blashill, as we joked about on the show. Yeah, he actually did get an interview. Mike Vellucci got an interview along with Trotz and Tortorella, and Rick Tocchet got an interview as well. I think that's the dark horse. That's the guy that I'm closetly rooting for. Call me a homer or what, but I think he brings everything that I just said about Tortorella, right? But in a non-abrasive way. You know what I mean? Because Tortorella has been known to rub players the wrong way and players wanting to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Well, after naming those 3 finalists, I can officially confirm this. I agree with only one thing that Rob said about the Flyers and what they need. Nobody likes Brussels sprouts. But in terms of those 3 choices at coach, are you trying? Are you trying to fuck this team in the ass before we even get going? Because Peter DeBoer is okay as a coach, but he doesn't make adjustments well. That's what's killed his career for the most part. Secondly, Trotz is a win-now coach. He is not a developmental coach. If we get him, I don't really see where that's going to change anything. It didn't take the Islanders long to realize that he's not a developmental coach. There was a problem.
I disagree a little bit. I I don't think he's the greatest developmental coach, but I think he's developed a lot of players in this league. I almost think like he does fit that need.
I mean, I don't know. I know that him and Barzell had problems. I could just see it happening here in Philly with somebody.
True.
At Tortorella, he'll last 2 years, and then he'll piss somebody off, and he'll get his ass fired. That's just how that works.
Agreed.
These are not good choices. None of these three are good choices. Like I said, DeBoer has a history of failing to adjust on the fly. He's terrible at it. That's why San Jose couldn't do shit when he was coach, because he didn't adjust well. Yeah, they got to a final. What'd they do in that final? Got their asses beat. And then on top of it, he got beat when he was the coach of the Devils in the final.
Right.
Whoop-de-fucking-do.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, you have Trotz, who, won a cup, but he won it with the Washington Capitals, a team that was ready to fucking win a cup. And then on top of that, Tortorella, he won a cup in 2004. 2 decades ago. And the game has changed a lot since then. And yes, I get it. Do I like the snowflakey perception and the snowflakey people in the league? No, I don't. But that's how it is. Everyone's like that anymore these days. Torts will get his ass fired because he'll try to, start to turn the heat up a little bit. And sure enough, Fletch will fire his ass because someone's going to have a problem with that.
Okay. Well, just to be clear, though, right? Coming from the Daily Faceoff's Frank Cervelli, he says that the final 2 finalists are Trotz and Tortorella. He doesn't mention DeBoer. It's Anthony Sanfilippo from Crossing Broad that mentions DeBoer's name as being a finalist. So there's a little bit, convoluted opinion there, but it doesn't sound like you're in favor of either of them. Out of those other names that I mentioned to you, Maddie, Mike Vellucci, Rick Tocchet, David Quinn, or Jeff Blashill, are there any of those names that would be a better fit than who has been named the finalists?
Not Blashill. I think we saw enough of him in Detroit to realize, no. Tocchet, maybe. It's a big maybe. You know how I am at this point with bringing back former Flyers. I'm not in favor of it anymore.
And you can't generalize. Like, I get that, and you're not alone in that argument. That's a huge argument against Rick Tocchet, right? It was even an argument about Roddy Brendamore before he found success with Carolina, right? But just like bringing in Danny Briere on the general manager side, I don't think you could judge an individual hire just because they were a former Flyer. Like, they're going to fail like other former Flyers. He might be just the right man for the job. You know what I mean? But the thing of it is, obviously, if he was, he would have been a finalist from the interview. So it's looking like that's not going to happen. But still a dark horse.
I mean, I don't know much about Mike Vellucci. And then on top of it, Quinn, maybe. I'm looking at the idea of I want a coach that is more about let's develop the young players. And I just don't see it here. You could argue Torts could bring that discipline, but the thing is, he'll cause problems because, like I said, snowflakey people, they won't handle it well, and then that's going to cause problems, and our team's going to suffer even more. And then he's going to get his ass fired.
A system of accountability, though, is good for young players developing, though. So I think he could be. I mean, I don't like it either. It makes me throw up in my mouth, but I'm just saying the flip side, the devil's advocate.
You're right in that accountability, and that definitely needs to be in place. But I feel like the way that Torts does it causes issues, whereas opposed to maybe somebody else who might navigate choppy waters a little bit better, maybe a little bit more politically, more of a politician, more of that, smooth talking, might be able to pull that off a little bit better.
Sure.
Because
D-Dale's hitting us from the road.
What'd he say?
Abs and 6. Wow.
Abs and 6.
He just saved Colorado.
Ted's saying, wouldn't it be nice to go look for that new guy like Rod Brendamore or Luke Richardson? Go for that guy with new not Torts. We need to lose, take a chance, and Bedard sweepstakes. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. And that's the thing. I don't mind us thinking outside the box. Say what you will about Hackstall. Say what you will. Did he not help younger players get better? Konechny had his best year under him.
True.
Coots, we thought he was a bust. And then under Hack, he became the player that he is now. Say what you will about him being a playoff coach. He was terrible at that. And maybe he wasn't the best in terms of being an NHL coach. But didn't the young players get better under him? I felt like they did. I'm just saying, it may not be the worst thing in the world to think, okay, maybe not necessarily bring in a Hackstall, but bring in a coach that can help bring out the best in the young players and not care about whether we're going to be able to make the playoffs or not. This organization, once again, getting fucking impatient, wants to win now. And I feel like that's what these candidates tell me. These candidates tell me we want to win now. And we feel like this will be a quick fix to the problem. I'm like, no, you're going with the big names to try and see if they can solve the problem because you think that will magically bring us back from the dead and bring us into the playoffs and we'll go on this great run and win a cup. It's not how it works. If you're developing a team, develop the team. Stop trying to do this bullshit, and that's what that says to me. It just tells me we're not willing to invest in our young guys. We're more willing to just say, let's go for it. Let's keep trying to win now. Yes, because that's worked for us so very well so far. That's what disappoints me about those candidates. Nothing against them and their accomplishments. It's where our team is at right now. Our team is shouldn't be in win now mode. That should be the farthest thing from our fucking minds. I don't give a shit about the guy who says, well, we got to win next year. No, we fucking don't. We need to develop our players. So that way 2-3 years from now, we can then start talking about winning now. 2-3 years down the road, if we keep doing this shit, the trajectory doesn't look any better. It looks the exact same that it is now. Maybe we'll have a great season, but we may have a shit season. I can't be the only one who sees this. I can't be the only one who is saying this about this team. I swear to God, every guy in that organization is sniffing their fucking farts, and it's just a fucking circle of that shit going around. It's like, and you wonder why this team can't win shit. No fucking why. Because fucking Fletch is coming out high off of smelling the fucking farts of whoever the fucking president is, whatever, Dave Scott, that fucking jack off. Seriously, you guys are just murdering this hockey team and you're getting away with it. It's like, geez, I don't know how much they fucking pay Fletcher, but they should get 3 to 5 fucking years for bringing him on this goddamn team. Jesus.
Right.
Sorry. Had to get that off my chest because that really pissed me off to hear those candidates. But anyway.
I understand there's been a lot of candidates that we've talked about that weren't even part of the interviewing process. You know what I mean? So I get it. I get what you're saying. They the two of them should have to apologize to every season ticket holder.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure, obviously, the pandemic didn't help anything. And as they say, we had Hackstall, and he tried to develop the younger guys, and he couldn't do his job because of the front office keeps getting in their own way. And yes, you're correct. You're not wrong in that. And that's why, that just adds a little bit more to, okay, this is what Hextall was thinking of doing. He wanted to develop the young players. He didn't give a shit about winning right now. Yes, did Hextall miss on Makar? Sure. You can keep throwing that stupid fucking argument in my face. How the fuck were we supposed to know Cale Makar was going to turn into what he fucking turned into? No one fucking knows. These guys,
puppy.
Yeah, but these guys are still unknowns. They could go to any team and be flops. How many guys have gone to teams and flopped out? Hell, Nolan Patrick flopped out of here. And I mean, look at Kakko. Has he exactly been the greatest player of all time on the Rangers? No. Lafreniere has been jumping him leaps and bounds since getting picked up by the Rangers. Probably should anyway, because the draft that they got Kakko in wasn't the greatest draft anyway. The point is that we have to start looking at the young players. Enough of this win now bullshit. It's just, we need to get rid of the GM. We need to get rid of the presidency. We need to get rid of that and start to think more logically. We're not thinking logically. We're thinking with bullshit philosophies that have been hurting this team for 2 decades now, and it's another bunch of tire spinning to pretend we're solving the problem. It's the same bullshit that I'm hearing from even San Jose, who refused to rebuild their team. they need to rebuild. They need to look at the team and say, listen, we've got some talent here. Their expiration date is way off. Let's look at these guys. Let's stop worrying about what the fuck we can go get in the free agency. Let's stop worrying about the big fucking name coach that we can go sign off. You know, like
develop a team like we've seen around the league. You look at the Minnesota Wild; they developed a team.
Yes.
I'm drinking your Kool-Aid, Matty. I get it.
Ted saying our defense is going to be terrible. It's believed Ellis isn't going to be ready. All these coaches are retreads. Yes, and that's the other issue that I have with it. Retreads. It's like that doesn't help the situation. We tried the retread. We tried Alain Vigneault. We got one good year out of it. And yeah, that was a great year, but next year went to shit real fast. And then this past season, he didn't even make it to halfway through the season. He got fired that quickly. Again, it's so obvious. It's so clear as day what the Flyers need to do, and they refuse to do it, and it's so frustrating to watch them do it. But what am I going to do? Change teams? Nope. That's my lot in life. It's my cross to bear to have to deal with this shit. It's our cross to bear, Rob. We just have to deal with this shit, don't we? Oh, anyway.
Like I told you before, man, the more years you go through this, the less you give a fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, we got a little sidetracked. We do that from time to time. Let's bring this back.
We wanted to get done there, I figured we waited long enough talking about the Flyers coaching finalists. So we took care of that. We'll wrap up these playoffs, do the shootout, and then peace.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about the playoffs, and let's talk about what we've gotten out of the first round. I mean, final thoughts on the playoff matchups that we saw. Obviously, first round, we had some crazy matchups. Florida and Washington. I got to give credit, though, to Washington. Washington last year, the way they went out so unceremoniously, and the year before that, it looked like, wow, Washington's really on life support. But sure enough, they come out this year, put up 100 points, and then prove, that wasn't a fluke because, boy, did they give Florida a fight. But Panthers did walk away with a win. Prism's favorite player in the entire world, Connor Verhaeghe, getting that goal that sent Florida to the second round.
Yep. That was in this year's playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, what a series that was, man. Great series there. What'd you think of that one?
I mean, ultimately, sort of passing of the torch a little bit. You know what I mean? We saw that in a couple series. We saw that a little bit in the Pittsburgh Rangers series as well, kind of very synonymous there. I mean, do I think Washington or Pittsburgh is dead and no longer a contender? No, but they're on their way out. And it seems like Florida and the Rangers that are on their way in.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, honestly, the way this whole, like you were saying with the Rangers, the Penguins, and then the Capitals and the Panthers, maybe that's a preview of things to come. Maybe as we start to get a little bit longer, maybe we'll see the Panthers and the Rangers start to be the top teams in their respective divisions. And maybe they'll meet up like the Lightning and the Penguins did a few times in the Eastern Conference Finals to see who will go on to the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, Tampa was more of this was an up-and-coming team and a preview of what they were going to be, but they were still the best team in the Atlantic, and they did meet up with Pittsburgh on multiple occasions in that Eastern Conference Final. But yeah, we saw that in the first round between two teams. Both of those series went to 7 games. Pittsburgh blew a 3-1 lead, which is always pleasant to see. I mean, I felt weird about it, though, because it's like, well, I'm half happy and I'm half mad because – one hand, I'm happy Pittsburgh's gone. That's great. But the problem is that the Rangers did it. And I'm like, okay, I kind of want to be happy, but at the same time, I can't be. Like, God damn it.
It's kind of like, fucking your cousin. You don't win either way.
Nope, not at all.
Third cousin. Come on.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, now it's okay.
That was the quickest joke I could come up with.
Maybe down in Alabama. That might be the. But anyway, okay. So on to and then the other two matchups we saw. Oh no, what is that? That's the cup.
Chilling in a hotel room. Even on Instagram, the cup pictures are seedy. Especially because of being on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh man. The funny part is they should have like how they do TikTok? They should have a TikTok where this beautiful, like just 10 out of 10 chick walks up to this one guy who's like a huge puckhead, and the cup's just right there, standing next to the chick, throws the chick away and just starts grabbing the cup and just starts making out with the cup.
I like that. That's good. That's a good premise. That's a very good premise. I like that. That would be funny. That would work. That would definitely work. I mean, the commercials have been spot on. Like, dude, like they just every time I see one of the commercials, dude, the hair on the back of my neck, because there are a few still left back there. Start standing up on their, standing up, like you get pumped, man. I mean, seeing that, believe it or not, you would think it would be the G one, he just wants to get one. But for me, it was the old man up in New York wanting to see one more. You know what I mean? Like just, because it highlights, as much as I was talking down about how it don't bother you as much, there's still that frailty of life. And it's like, you want to experience that joy once, at the very least, if not one more time.
Right? Yeah. I agree. Everybody does. Everyone wants to know what that feeling is like.
Sure. Fortunately,
only one team can do it every year. So, on to other notable first round things that we saw. Toronto, once again, losing in 7. I will say this. I don't think, and I know that there are probably Toronto fans that are just shitting all over this team, probably shitting on Jack Campbell and shitting on Austin Matthews. I really don't think that they have a valid reason this time. Yes, they had a valid reason last year because that 3-1 lead, they blew it. They choked. They should not have lost to Montreal. But they did a great job in this series. In my opinion, they fought hard. Problem is you drew the 2-time defending Cup champs, and you woke Vazzy up, which was your biggest mistake. You woke Vazzy up in Game 7. He said, okay, I'm awake. It's playoffs? All right, I hope you guys don't mind, but I am going to fuck you guys over and not let you score on me for the night. And it just happened to be Game 7. So sorry, but not sorry. We're going on a 3-peat. Just letting you know.
Truth.
And that's kind of what happened, And I don't think Toronto fans should hold Toronto like, oh, you guys fucking failed against. Yeah, they failed to get out of the first round, but look at who they lost to. And then secondly, on top of it, look at the series. Was Toronto never not in this series? Actually, no. There's a lot of people saying that this was going to be the year Toronto was going to upset and get rid of Tampa, and they were going to go on that run. Just happened to be the opposite. They tried this year. You tip your cap to the other team beat you.
Right? There was periods of that series that looked like that was going to happen. Toronto was going to move on. It was a back and forth series.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, I wouldn't hold Toronto on. I wouldn't vilify them too much. Yeah, I'd be mad, but there's still a lot to be proud of, even if you didn't win that series. They did try as hard as they could to win.
Sure.
All right. The other one, Boston and Carolina. Always pleasant to see the Bruins lose. Never not pleasant. And even better news, Patrice Bergeron might be getting ready to retire. Please retire, so that way we don't have to deal with you anymore. That would be such a pleasant moment in time. We still got a little ways to go before Crosby hangs his skates up, but at least starts with Bergeron and works its way down.
Sure.
All right. On to the West first round matchups that were it. So the sweep from Nashville, I kind of felt bad for Nashville. They lost Saros a week before the fucking playoffs began, and boy did they suffer for it because Riddick was not able. Yeah. Jesus, that was bad. That was a rough series. I mean, Nashville got one game to go to OT, but that was it. Oh, man. Moving on. Series that surprised me, LA and Edmonton. What a great series that turned out to be. I mean, the Kings, man, they're definitely a work in progress, but if that's a sign of things to come, God, I hate to say this. I don't think we're too far off for the Kings making another run and going to the finals and winning another one, honestly. Because, boy, did they fight Edmonton hard. And Edmonton, give them credit, they won that series, but Edmonton had to be kind of shaking their head a little bit. It's like, God damn, man, what is with this fucking team? Like, they will not go away.
Very tenacious squad out there in LA, mixed with like young people, young players and veterans alike. And yeah, I mean, took it to 7 games, an Edmonton team that went on and beat a pretty good Calgary team in 5.
Yeah, that was crazy, that series. And even Brendan Lemieux's son even got in on the action. So so that's one. You still got how many to go?
Yeah.
Oh man, boy, you talk about pressure. Man, I would not want to be in his shoes. I mean, yeah, I'm a pro player in hockey and I'm getting paid good money, but the pressure of your dad's shadow, whew, that's a tough one.
Oh yeah.
But besides that, Minnesota, I felt bad for them. They tried in that St. Louis series, but the Blues just said nope. I mean, I think Minnesota will be back in it. It's just, I think they need to make a couple little adjustments here and there. For one thing, I think they need to really figure out goaltending. Nothing against Fleury, but Fleury might hang it up possibly, and then Talbot's solid. I don't know. I think there might be some adjustments Minnesota needs to make, before they're ready to make that run. I thought they were going to do it this year, but it just didn't happen. St. Louis said, no.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously a team that's not quite ready. You know what I mean? And they proved to be a pretty good regular season team, and these young teams need to learn what it takes to make that switch over to what the playoffs entail. I mean, it's a good first test. Get in there. I mean, play St. Louis Blues team to 6 games. What's good is that Kaprizov didn't look lost in the bright lights. You know what I mean? He shined even more, and that's what you want to see from your top guys.
Yeah,
top guys out.
Yeah. And after that, though, makes Minnesota feel any better. St. Louis imploded in the next round. So there you go. There's that consolation. But to finish off the first round in the West, what was probably – it was a strange series, at least at first. You had a couple of feeling out games, and then it got really exciting there towards the end. And that between Dallas and Calgary. I mean, 2 teams that faced off with each other a couple years back.
One of my favorites of the first round, actually. That was the series I was really keen on, and it lived up to its billing.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a very exciting series. And Jake Ottinger, if he is not the regular starter by next season, I will absolutely tell right now that Dallas deserves to be backhanded right across the face. It's like, yeah. Because that team, they found their starter. It's Jake Ottinger all the way. I mean, hell, I think they solidified it too. They sent Ben Bishop to Buffalo. So,
Right.
If that doesn't tell you the story, I don't know what will. But first round, interesting battles. Second round, the Battle of Alberta, I will say I was very excited to see that. More things change, more they stay the same. Calgary got its ass blasted by Edmonton.
Right. Well, it makes you wonder, going 7 with Dallas, did that really just take the steam out of their sails?
It may have, possibly.
Either that or the barrage of goals in Game 1 did. One or the other.
Yeah, something like that, I mean, it could be, But to be fair, Edmonton kind of – I think it was more – Calgary just had some disjointedness, I think. I think that's what killed it. It might have been that, but Edmonton wasn't perfect in that series. That's for damn sure. I mean, Mike Smith did let in a goal from center ice. Whew. But I will say, though, that will provide me comedy for the rest of my life, because that was pretty damn funny.
For real, yeah.
And then, of course, what's up, Tom? And then, of course, we also
had...
What
up, Tommy, man? What up, Tommy? How's the kid doing, man?
Yeah, hopefully Lena and the kid doing great. And then, of course, also have that great implosion of St. Louis after Kadri did what he did. And, well, not what Kadri did. It's just what happened. You know?
Right,
And then
right.
Binnington being a piece of shit doing his thing. You know, it's like, well, it's what happens. You reap what you sow. And you got your ass eliminated by Kadri single-handedly. And then, Colorado sweeping Edmonton right out of it. Give Edmonton credit, though. That Game 4 was very exciting. Zach Kassian, of all people, too, getting that tying goal. I thought Edmonton was going to win the game after that. I thought, okay, Zach Kassian just scored probably the biggest goal of his career. They're going to win this in overtime. And then Colorado won. I'm like, okay, never mind. Mike Smith's the goalie. I forgot.
Right.
Oh. And then, and then in the East, second round, great series between the Hurricanes and the Rangers. Unbelievable series. Probably the series of that second round, I'd have to say. What an amazing battle that was. The sweep of the Panthers, that President's Trophy curse, it comes back and bites them in the rear. Don't win that fucking thing. Then, of course, Eastern Conference Finals, 7 hard-fought games between the Rangers and the Lightning. What a series
6,
that
you're right.
was.
You're right, 6 the first. Yep.
Oh yeah, I was right. I'm sorry.
I thought it was going to be 7. You know, I had Tampa Bay in 7, but they got it done in 6.
They did. What a series. And that was a series you thought Tampa was done for because they started off that series. They looked bad. And, you know, like you said, Vazzy looked human, and it really looked like, oh, shit, the Rangers are going to win this thing. And then, sure enough, after those 2 straight bad games in the Garden, they woke up. Once again, they woke Vazzy up, and then 4 straight out of the playoffs. Damn, bro. That was harsh. Let's see, Ted saying, what happened with Binnington, him being a scumbag? Did he injure someone? I heard his host trashing him on multiple shows. What did he do? Oh, he trashed. Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
It was the other way around, and then finish your thought.
Yeah, and Binnington trash-talked Kadri and trash-talked on an interview and everything like that, you know, called him out. Just basically saying that what Kadri did was wrong, even though Kadri got pushed into him. It was incidental contact. It wasn't him trying to take a run at Binnington, which he thought, and apparently everybody else did, even though it was obvious it wasn't. And, He
didn't stop either. You know, sometimes it's like, you know, yeah, you can say he's pushed in, and I agree. I agreed with you when you first said it, and I agree with you now. But professional players of a respective sport can manipulate their body to move out of the way. But if your opponent is, you know what I mean, and it's going to cause a collision, right? So be it. That's how you play in the playoffs, man. You know what I mean? So it was more Kadri, whether it was a run or not, running into the goaltender, taking him out and injuring him. And then there was that whole, remember the water bottle gate?
Oh, yeah. That too.
Like, that's a little immature on Binnington's behalf. You know what I mean? Settle up like men, but.
That whole thing was stupid. And then, you know, how fitting. You get your ass beat by Nazem Kadri single-handedly in that Game 6 that sent your ass packing. So, goes to show, careful what you say. Keep your words short and sweet because you may very well have to eat them later. And St. Louis ate them and ate them a lot in that game.
Sure.
All right. And so, we're here at the final. So, after all of that craziness that happened in the playoffs, Rob, what do you think of ESPN and their first of several years to come of them covering the playoffs, and what do you think of this year's runs?
Like I said, it was good coverage, like in terms of making sure that games didn't really collide with each other. I mean, you're at the liberty of the NHL schedule maker there, but in terms of how they had available either on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, they have a lot of channels at their disposal, opposed to NBC. Yeah, they would go into like maybe CNBC or USA or whatever, but when you're talking about CNBC or MSNBC, some people don't even know where that channel is. So naturally, you're just going to get more people flocking to more identifiable channels. That's just the brass tacks of it. But on top of that, the coverage was great. The analysis was sharp. Brian Boucher is an all-star in terms of announcing. He is fabulous. Keith Jones, obviously, on the TNT side, just keeping it Flyers-centric. But I much preferred the TNT's panel in terms of like intermission or begin with. I like how they're ripping off our concept where just everybody talks at the same time like you're in the locker room. Real talk. You know, we've had these hats out since 2014, so go fuck your mother. But anyway, but I like that style, and at least and it's everything is a good for getting the NHL back to its status as one of the major four, not even talking about other offbeat sports.
I will say, I did love the addition of Paul Bisson and having him on there. It's like, yep, I think we need more Paul Bisson on these.
You need the contrarian, the hot take guy. You need him. You know what I mean? The Henry guy that's going to like get chippy.
Yep. And then I did like Tocchet being there too, because they needed someone to be the punching bag, and Tocchet just, I guess, volunteered to be the punching bag. Usually it's Jonesy, but
humble dudes, both alike. You know what I mean? But I like hearing Steve Levy.
Yes.
With ESPN and John Bustergrass. I mean that. But I grew up with that with hockey. I mean, I'll just insert Gary Thorne and we'll be back. You know what I mean? But it helps with missing a legend in Doc Emmerich. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's helping that the changing over from NBC to ESPN, I think, is seriously helping with that transition, because you don't just replace Doc Emmerich. He's that Howard Cosell. He's that John Madden and Pat Summerall. Like you don't replace those guys. You don't even try to replicate it. You move on in a new style, and I think they found their new style of both coverage and broadcast.
Absolutely, and I do like how they have a rules analyst. Like they didn't have that on the NBC broadcast. I like the fact they got someone coming in who's actually analyzing the rule and describing what it says in the rule book of the NHL, what this is and what this isn't. It's like, thank you. Like, that's actually pretty awesome. Like, why haven't they done this before? Just seems like that would be logical at this point. But,
right? Totally.
But, yeah, I think it's been fun. I think it's been solid coverage all around. I like the fact that they mixed up some of the local. Like, we even had JJ was doing some of the play-by-play. Taryn Hatcher was doing some of the between the boards in the first round, And I like that they're mixing up the local broadcasters and putting them into these national games. And they're not just going with the prototypical ones. They're going with different ones from all around the league and grabbing them from different teams. They're trying different, broadcast teams. I'm like, I like that. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with uniformity, but I like a little mix up here and there. It's interesting to see it. You don't see it all the time. You didn't see it at all really with NBC. And don't get me wrong, I understand why. You had Doc and you wanted Doc for everything. I get that. And Kenny Albert's good. And I have no problem with Kenny Albert either. But, I like the mix and I like the change that they've been doing, All right. So, with that, that's our playoff review. And so far, so good. Let's see if we can get more of it as we go down the line. It'll be very interesting to see as we get a little bit longer in the tooth of this ESPN deal, see where the NHL is at by the end of it. And we'll see if it gets extended.
Yeah, I think the Stanley Cup Finals will be the excellent final chapter, capping off a superior playoffs this year.
Absolutely. Okay, and with that ends our second period. It also ends our third period because we did talk about our main around the league topic, and our third period sponsor was Fan Up. Remember what I said about that $9.99 a month? It wasn't just BetUS. You could take that advice from Willie Vegas and Money Pot. Fan Up as well. Best way to enjoy fantasy sports. They have daily NBA contests. The finals is still going, I think. Is it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They're in game. I want to say game 5.
Game 5. So big money moments coming right there. And then, of course, you have baseball. That's still very much.
They just had game 5. Game 6 Thursday night.
So yeah,
so two more games. Then, but I mean, they got FanUp's got Major League Baseball, obviously football coming up too. People are gearing up for leagues for fantasy football. It's about draft season, so FanUp's just getting started right now.
Yeah. So it's just getting going, and so there's plenty of stuff to talk about, and then of course the Stanley Cup Finals on top of it. So it's going to be a lot of money thrown around, lots and lots of money. So you can win great prizes. Sign up today. Use the promo code HUD for 5,000 bonus points, a $50 value. All you got to do is go to fanup.app, and there you go. Take the advice, and like we said before, you get paid to be an A2D member. How many places are offering you to get paid to be a member? Probably no others. None at all.
Yeah.
All right. And we go on to our shootout segment to finish this bad boy up. Brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal. You can make an appointment with him at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Then you can see him in Cherry Hill or Burlington, New Jersey. Get all those aches and pains taken care of, because you don't want to deal with that. You don't just want to wake up and your back is just killing you, or your leg is just bothering you. Get that taken care of. Don't go through the whole day dealing with that crap. Take care of yourself. All right. And on to our shootout segment. Rob, start with you. What is your favorite moment of the week?
It started from a terrible moment after the ugly sucker punch incident that we saw following Game 5 of Tampa Bay and New York Rangers. The Tampa Bay Lightning CEO reached out to the fan who was assaulted, and here's a little snippet from their text messaging. Alex, Steve Griggs here. I am the CEO of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I wanted to reach out to make sure you were doing okay. I'm sorry about the incident that occurred last night. Please let me know if the Lightning organization can do anything for you. Go Bolts. Then the man responded, Steve, appreciate the text. I've been a long-time Tampa Bay fan. I actually rode on the Zamboni when I was little. My grandma and aunt are season ticket holders for the Lightning as well. Only thing I would ask for is to kick those Rangers' butts in Game 6, which they did. And I became a fan because I went to – all right, here's the main point. Steve Griggs responds, hell yeah, please send me your address. I'll send you a bunch of playoff swag. What is your size? Go Bolts. What are you talking about? I mean, a nice touch, way to reach out. You know what I mean? Just it's good PR, but it's obviously a man that cares, showing a heartbeat. Can we get a CEO like that in goddamn Philadelphia?
I know, right? Enough with this cynical corporate bullshit. Be nice, right?
Right. But I don't want to piss on the moment. That was a really good moment.
That is a very good moment. I do like that moment of the week.
Right.
My moment of the week, watching the New York Rangers lose and getting eliminated. That is just beautiful.
Pissing on him right now.
Yeah. It is. It's so enjoyable to watch it. I mean, I don't know why they're so mad though. I mean, honestly, I was happy when you eliminated Pittsburgh. Now I'm happy you're gone. It's just and my happiness is important here, and that's what the key is. And you losing equals that. I'm sorry, it's just a numbers game. It's math. That's just how it works. You minus playoffs.
Exactly.
So that will be my favorite moment of the week. Seeing no more blue shirts, and we get a Tampa Bay Colorado Stanley Cup Final. And now we go on to our who do you think the player of the Stanley Cup Finals will be? Who do you think will be the key player for their respective team?
Oh, I didn't have that one prepared. You caught me off guard there. Okay. For a respective team, I'm going to say Braden Point coming back, hopefully healthy for Game 1. Total difference maker. On the opposite side, I'll go Cale Makar. He's just been the guy to watch for the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, a lot of attention goes to Nate McKinnon. And I think, if the Avs do win it all, Makar and McKinnon will be neck and neck for the Conn Smythe. But Makar, he's just been all over the ice, playing that complete 200-foot game like I was mentioning before. He's put up 5 goals, 17 assists, 22 points, plus 11, 51 shots, 1 power play goal, 8 power play points, and a game-winning overtime goal. He's he's a force over there for Colorado. So I think the two of them will make this a very interesting series.
For me, I will say for Tampa, Andre Vasilevsky, obviously. If he can steal some games, yeah, they should be able to handle this, and they should be able to win themselves their third straight cup. As for Colorado, I was going to say Cale Makar as well. I think if Makar is on fire, I would suspect that a lot of guys will follow his lead. And I could see it happening where he could get things going, and then McKinnon and the rest just follow in suit. But I think those are the two key players for their respective teams to see if they could snag themselves a cup.
I liked what you did with that question. That's a better question. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that. That's how they match up. That's how sports are. That's how you can figure them out on a betting angle. How do teams match up against each other? Yeah. Captain Obvious.
And James Waller saying, yo, 3-peat. What's up, James?
Yo, what up, buddy? The Canadian. I love you joining us. Awesome, brother.
I know.
Awesome Discord, man. The Discord he's running over there for A2D is freaking fantastic. Go check it out. Plug it in the chat.
Absolutely. And James, man, listen, I know it might be tough with Toronto taking that L, but you know what, man? I think they showed a lot. I mean, even though they lost, I don't think they got anything to be ashamed of. You lost to a team that's possibly about to 3-peat, so I don't really think there's much shame in that.
Truth.
Roscoe saying Gibson's not leaving Anaheim. Well, that would be pleasant news to hear if Brian was here for that.
Or should he?
Yeah. And Ted, to answer your question there, maybe. We'll see what happens in the offseason if they're thinking about moving TK.
I think it could happen.
Yeah.
Build picks for the following draft.
True. James saying, fuck Toronto. I love that they lost for 5 years straight in Game 7. Then he goes on trash organization.
Trash.
Oh. All right, then. So, final one for the shootout segment. Favorite cup moment. Or favorite cup moment that you've seen.
I would like you to go first if you don't mind, because
Sure.
I got a couple and I don't want to steal your thunder.
My favorite cup moment, actually, I have two as well. Even though they wasn't with the Flyers, Gagne winning his cup with the Kings, that was a good moment. And then Timonen winning his with the Blackhawks. Because it's like, those guys deserved it. Like, love them to death. Still love them to this day. If any two guys deserved cups, it was Gagne and Timonen, and I was happy, even if they had to go to another organization, that they at least won theirs.
That's good. That's two good ones, definitely. And that's being like a non-hater where, you rooted for a guy, you had passion and love for him, and you like to see him go on and finally, attain that prize. That's one of the most elusive in all of sports.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, that didn't coincide with any of mine, so this is great. I mean, you think of the Flyers being the first expansion team to win the cup. That's an easy one, long time ago though. And but yeah, I'll too, like you. I'll take my Homer hat off, and I'm gonna go with Ray Bourque. You referenced it earlier, that 2001 Stanley Cup victory, and Ray Bourque after 22 seasons, all with the 20 of them with the Bruins, the last 2 with Colorado. People forget, they think he went to Colorado and won the cup. No, they failed in that year's playoffs. It was the next year's playoffs that they went on, and he finally, and he wasn't for sure going to play that following season.
Yeah.
He was going to wrap it up at 21, but he decided one more. And just seeing the tears run down his face, like, I'll remember that for a lifetime.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it was the GM or either GM or Joe Sakic had to talk to him and really convince him, like, no, come back. We really think we're going to do it this year.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So I had to go with that one. That's the one I'm going with. I mean, I also thought about the goal. And what I mean by the goal is Yager faking out 5 Blackhawks and beating Eddie the Eagle Belfour for a goal in the '92 Stanley Cup Finals. One of the sickest goals I've ever seen in a Stanley Cup final. It just demoralized that Chicago team and leading Pittsburgh to sweeping that series and winning their second straight cup. One of the teams that have done it twice, like Tampa Bay, but not 3 times.
That's the key. You always want to be able to say that.
Right.
But you want to talk about it. It's like, here's the Penguins, here's the Blackhawks. That's that series right there.
Right. But I think it's apropos with the Abs being back in it too. I'll go with Raiden Bork.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good moment right there. And for Don, I said favorite cup moment: Wings over Penguins. Good times. That was a good year, 2008. That was a pleasant year to watch Crosby and those shitbirds lose that series. Unfortunately,
wasn't that the beginning or the middle of the Hossa run where he won consecutive cups with multiple teams?
No, he went to
Pat Maroon.
Oh. No. He actually he went to consecutive finals. He was on the Penguins that year.
Swapped. Then. Oh.
And then he won a cup in 2010 with the Blackhawks. So that's what happened. He went to 3 consecutive finals, and third time was a charm for him.
I think I just trolled Homie without trying to troll Homie right there. Like, that was an honest mistake, dude. Sometimes you indulge a little too much and your memory gets a little shitty. You know what I mean?
It happens. Ted saying shame RGM didn't talk Niskanen out of retirement. I think Niskanen is better off not being here on this shit team. So I think he's enjoying retirement. Besides, I don't want to. I don't want his memory to be ruined as a Flyer, because my favorite memory of him is when he broke Brendan Gallagher's jaw. That was a beautiful moment. Brendan Gallagher worked so hard to score in that series. Was so happy. Next play, Niskanen broke his jaw. I love it.
For all you baseball fans tuning in, Miles Mikolas threw 7 innings, no hit in the Pirates right now, which is a team that if you want to no hit, you have a good chance right there with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So yeah. I know Cromer's watching that game somewhere.
Don, worst cup moment. Anytime the Penguins lifted the cup, that's my worst cup moment right there, especially because one of those years they beat San Jose.
It's one of my favorite names in baseball or sports, Miles Mikolas. It's like
that is a good name.
Yeah, isn't it?
Why isn't he a hockey player?
Yeah, right. He should be a hockey player. He was in a former life.
Yeah, true. Probably played for the Flyers too. But all right. So we thank everybody out there for joining us for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. The Stanley Cup Finals is here. The excitement is palpable. The Coliseum is filled to the brink to max capacity. The 2 gladiators have entered, one from the west, the other one from the east. Only one's going to walk away with the cup. The question is, who? Who's going to walk away? And who's going to get this from Caesar? We're going to find out later on.
And just to sum up, Brian's going Abs in 6. I'm going Tampa Bay in 6. And Matt, you're going Tampa Bay in 7?
Yes, I am.
Yep.
So thank you, Don, and thank you, everybody out there in the fam, for tuning in and for chiming in with us and spending your Tuesday evening here. As always, another season will soon be in the books. We'll see how long this Stanley Cup Finals got. And then after that, we're off to the draft and free agency time. So it'll be very exciting as we head to the off season. But anyway, that's for the future. We were brought to you by Manscaped. You can get rid of your old hygiene habits. Throw them out. Just get rid of them. No one wants them anyway. Do that, and you can also have a benefit on it because you get 20% off. Free shipping with the code A2D. Get 20% off. Free shipping, A2D code at manscaped.com. Do it. Do it now. You'll thank yourself later in the morning. And then All Campus OC, 20% off of everything in their store, including hats, shirts, to all the subscribers. Listen, go check out All Campus if you're down in the Ocean City area, if you're taking a trip down to the shore. John Coyle runs the ramp booth. He runs All Campus. Great place, great store, and great environment on top of it. Wear your team colors with pride. That's where you want to go to get all that taken care of. And if by any chance you wish to support us and support not only Hockey Happy Hour, but A2D as well, this is where you can go to. Philly drinkers, .com/A2D radio. They always have great new t-shirt designs coming out. They did a great one back in the day for A2D doing the NWO logo. They did a great one for the Hockey Happy Hour with the logo you see up there in the corner there. Great shirts that we have there, and just plenty of other ones. We even have the funny ones with the QB Factory back in the day. You know, bad things happen in Philly. They have all great stuff over there. So go check that out. And it's not just t-shirts. They got mugs. They got shorts. They got all kinds of stuff there, guys. So phillydrinkers.com/A2D. Get yourself some A2D merch. It helps us out, helps Philly Drinkers out, and it's great stuff on top of it. All right. And we thank everybody once again. Flash up Manscaped there to say goodbye. And we hope that you guys enjoy the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll see next week if we have a champ by then. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But we definitely will find out sooner or later who will be the last team standing on top of that iceberg with the cup. Until then, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys next week right here on A2DRadio.com. Peace and love, everyone.